Welcome to the FPL Draft Duo YouTube channel. This is myself, Nosey, alongside my co-host Jaxie, and we are the FPL Draft Duo. We're dedicated to all things draft. Our goal is to bring the draft game mode to a wider audience.
Follow us on all social media and listen to our weekly podcast for in-depth discussions around waiver suggestions, trade dilemmas, and tips and tricks to succeed in FPL draft mode.
Thanks a million for all the support so far. We're really excited to get into YouTube, so let's get into the video.
Game Week 12's waiver of the week was Paqueta with 9 points against Forest. He's also a fantastic pick going forward. The punt of the week turned out to be Harry Maguire with 6 points against Luton. Now our punts, these are players wavered in for just one game week. So stay tuned in the rest of the video to find out our punts for Game Week 13.
Looking at the bottom 10 teams in the fixture ticker, City and Brentford are bottom because of their blank fixture in Game Week 18. If you have a couple of these players, you might want to plan ahead to ensure a full starting 11 in Game Week 18.
Although Arsenal are ranked 12th in Fantasy Football Hub's fixture ticker ranking, their next 5 fixtures may actually suit attacking assets. Crystal Palace also have 3 favourable attacking fixtures, with Luton, West Ham and Bournemouth all likely to concede.
Looking at the top 10 teams in the fixture ticker, Wolves sit in 7th place with 4 favourable fixtures in the next 5. With Neto rumoured to be back from injury soon, some of their attackers may increase in value. Forest are sitting top of the fixture ticker with 4 out of the next 6 fixtures at home. Spurs are also very light at the back, so a couple of them Forest assets may be great picks over the next 6 game weeks.
Looking at Game Week 13 clean sheet odds from DraftHound, Arsenal top the charts with a 40% chance of a clean sheet against Brentford, followed by Palace with a 38% chance against Luton. Although West Ham and Bournemouth are 5th and 6th respectively, West Ham have only kept 1 clean sheet so far this season, and that was against recently promoted Sheffield United, and Bournemouth's clean sheets both came while playing at home.
Taking a look at the teams with the worst odds for a clean sheet in Game Week 13, both Villa and Spurs make up 2 of the bottom 5, indicating that this may be a high scoring game.
We're focusing on one trade dilemma here, but on our weekly podcast we answer listener questions, many of them trade dilemmas, in more detail to help you make the best decision possible. For anyone new to FPL Draft, a trade is simply a transfer of player or players to one manager to another.
This week we're focused on a double trade. Darwin Núñez and Gross for DCL and Martinelli. So taking a look at Darwin and DCL first. Although he may be a rotation risk at times, Darwin Núñez racks up some of the most impressive stats in the Premier League when he's on the pitch. He may be frustrating to watch at times, but he has scored 4 goals and got 6 assists with an average of 0.91 XGI per 90 this season. He also has the added bonus of playing alongside Mo Salah.
DCL has missed some games through injury this season, but he still managed to bag 3 goals. The issue lies with him only having 13 shots in the box, with 5 of them being on target this season. The thing with Everton is they have spread their goals across their team this season, and he has not been the main provider like previous years.
Taking the Gross versus Martinelli side into consideration, De Zerbi Roulette has played a big part in Brighton's season so far, but Pascal Gross seems to be the only player that has avoided this. He's only missed 2 games, and that's because of injury. He started every other game, playing 90 minutes in all but 2, where he was taken off at 80 and 88 minutes.
He has 2 goals and 1 assist and 2 10-point hauls. He also has 2 more shots in the box on target than DCL. Brighton do have a very busy period over Christmas, with European games included. So although he does seem nailed, he's inevitably going to be rested at some point this season.
Martinelli has had reduced minutes so far this season, averaging only 73 minutes per game, and he is underperforming his stats with only 1 goal and 2 assists, but we do expect him to improve over the next 10 game weeks due to Arsenal's good attacking fixtures.
Overall, Darwin and Gross get the nod from us. We do expect Martinelli to outscore Gross, but the gap between Darwin's attacking threat versus DCL's poor underlying stats swing it in the Uruguayan's favour.
Each week on the podcast, we give out numerous waiver options to help improve your team. Goalkeepers become available on the waiver because of rotation and injury, so these suggestions depend on the game week.
There are always defensive picks to attack on the waiver. We give 3 options for managers in smaller leagues, where more players may be available. 3 options for managers in larger leagues, where players might be more scarce. And then some 1 game week punts. Midfield waiver suggestions follow the same format.
Like goalkeepers, forward waiver suggestions depend on the game week, as starting strikers are few and far between in the draft. In third place on our Game Week 13 waiver suggestions for goalkeepers, Tom Heaton may get the nod for United this weekend. Onana has reportedly picked up an injury and may not play. If you're looking for a keeper that might get the nod, he could be on your waivers.
Next up is Ortega. Ederson has picked up an injury on international duty and he's at 75% flagged on fantasy football. Although City do have a tough fixture against Liverpool this season, he may be worth that 1 week punt.
Top of our suggestions in goalkeepers this week is Aaron Ramsdale. Raya is unavailable to play against his parent club this weekend. That means Ramsdale will get the nod. They play Brentford and have the highest probability clean sheet out of all 3 teams. Next up are our defender suggestions in small size leagues. In third place we have Ward of Palace. He is the most available Palace defender and he's playing Luton this weekend with a great chance at a clean sheet.
Next up is Zinchenko, and he should be available on some waivers because of Tomiyasu starting in recent weeks. Arsenal do have a 40% chance of a clean sheet this weekend, and with Zinchenko's attacking potential, he could be a great pickup.
First on our list is Colwell. Because he's flagged, he may be on some waivers. If you pick him up now, Chelsea have a fantastic run of fixtures from game week 16 to 21 and you'll be delighted you have him in your team. Here are some defensive waiver suggestions in larger size leagues for the next coming game weeks. Tofolo and Aina are playing for Forest, who are top of the fixture ticker. They've got some attacking returns recently and Forest look an improved side defensively. They may be able to start 3 or 4 games for your team over the next 6 game weeks in larger size leagues.
West Ham have only kept 1 clean sheet so far this season, but the aerial threat of Aguerd and Zuma can't be overlooked this weekend as they play Burnley away.
For midfielder suggestions in smaller size leagues, coming in at third place is Souček. He had 3 great chances to score in previous game week and ended up getting a last minute winner. With Antonio's injury, he looks like a nailed starter, and as Jaxie said, James Ward-Prowse's deliveries cannot be underestimated.
Next is Michael Elise. He played 23 minutes last game week and is known for his attacking threat at Crystal Palace. Playing alongside the likes of Eze, Ayew and Edouard, he's sure to rack up some attacking returns.
Top of the list for the smaller size leagues. Neto comes in first place. As mentioned at the start, he may be back for game week 13, if not, it looks like game week 14. We recommend picking him up because he's had 1 goal and 8 assists this season and he will have great trade value in the coming weeks. In our larger size leagues for midfielder suggestions, Burnley assets may be decent over the next 6 game weeks. Although they play for Burnley, they are second in the fixture ticker and Company likes to play attacking football. Brownhill and Goodmanson have caught our eye over the last couple of weeks. If Goodmanson isn't available, Brownhill may be the second best option if you need a 5th midfielder in a large league.
Next up is Jordan Ayew of Crystal Palace. He's 1 goal and 3 assists this season and is playing Luton this weekend with a full Palace side as Michael Elise is back. He's usually available on a lot of waivers and often does go under the radar.
Top of our list is Elanga. He returned in game week 12 and looks like one of Forest's biggest attacking threats. Nail down a spot and he may be a pick and stick in the next 6 weeks in a large league. Finally, in our striker suggestion, there's 2 options this week. Amdouni may be available in smaller leagues as Foster remains out. Due to Bowen's injury, Danny Ings also may be a good pick for the next couple of game weeks if you need a playing striker. Thanks a million for watching. Do get in contact on any form of social media and send in any questions, trade dilemmas, or queries you have. Give us a listen every Tuesday on Spotify, FPL Draft Duo Podcast. Catch you next week.